All right, what is going on, everybody? Vietnam Strategy A versus Heresy over here. Miguel and Dogao versus Bad Boy and Song Song. In this one, Cape of Storms and Kawasan versus Atacama and Golden Pit are the home maps over here. As you can see, the civilizations out there as well. The first thing that really stands out is the Brazilians going for Sicilians. It's not a bad civilization, but is definitely an awkward one, I would say. So let's take a look at what they can do over here. We're all set, so let's jump straight into game number one. Welcome to Heresy versus Vietnam Strategy. Over here, are they B? They're supposed to... Oh, they're actually Vietnam Strategy B. That's totally true. That's totally true. Whoops. Sorry for that. They're actually Vietnam Strategy B. Everybody who said that is right. So, forget that. It's actually Vietnam Strategy B. It's actually very, very confusing because there's a Vietnam Legends, ACCM and BACTI. There's a Vietnam Strategy A and there's a Vietnam Strategy B. It's not me trying to confuse people, that's the team names they signed up with. So, lack of creativity on that side, and that's just gonna make things a little bit confusing. Alright, so Vietnam Strategy B over here. We're gonna have Bad Boy as Mayans on the right side in red. A bit of a scout scuffle right at the beginning over here. Miguel and... well, we had the scout scuffle with Miguel and Bad Boy for now. Scout comes in from Song Song to reinforce, as Miguel's already pumping out the scouts here to try and finish that scout off over here. So, Bad Boy's on the right side in red Mayans. We're gonna have a yellow Khmer for Song Song, a bit of an unconventional civilization for Arabia to start with. We're gonna have Dogao as Saracens in blue, going for a fast market over here. In fact, he is making a couple of archers, but that's basically it. Obviously, Saracen fast castle, you want to hit castle age with about 6-7 crossbowmen available. There is going to be massive market usage here for Dogao. Whereas on the other side, Miguel is going to be playing Bulgarians, another somewhat unconventional civilization for Arabia. So there is some surprises here on both sides. Bad Boy is already on 2 ranges, will be fully walled in a matter of moments. Whereas on the north, defensive tower is coming up on the berries of Song Song over here. That's an awkward choice, and I don't like that. With Khmer, you can jump into houses, and that would have been perfectly fine over there. Making a defensive tower on your berries with Khmer is excessive, in my perspective. Song Song is going to lose all 3 of his scouts, but he's going to pick off a villager here from Miguel. Miguel has gotten the attack upgrade already, so his scouts are actually better in combat. But the first villager kill goes to Song Song in this game. And there is a couple of archers coming from the other side as well to pressure Miguel's base. Miguel barely able to finish his walls, as now he comes in with the scouts. We'll try to take this fight, as looks like Bad Boy is not reacting in time. Did take quite a few hits before that Spearman actually started attacking. And that means that we have a cleanup over here. But that cleanup comes at a price, because now the scouts of Song Song are coming in to hit the Miguel, while Miguel was distracted, and it looks like it's very much a double team in the face of Miguel. Now, Miguel has gotten used to this one, because the thing is that... wait a second. Okay, Miguel deleted that tower. I got scared for a moment that he lost that foundation. Archers move in here. That's another villager pick, potentially. There it is. Another villager goes down. Miguel under heavy pressure over here. So Miguel pretty much has gotten used to taking the punishment, because in most 2v2s that Miguel and Dogao play, Dogao is usually doing a Drush fast castle, so Miguel is the one that has to absorb the damage in castle age and then let Dogao finish off the game in early castle with the crossbowman that he plays for. It's very similar to that. Dogao is playing a fast castle, so Miguel is supposed to absorb the damage in feudal age over here. Indeed, Heresy is the favorite team over here. I would say I'm giving them a 75-25 chance over Bad Boy and Song Song, but we have seen some upsets in the tournament so far. So there is definitely a chance for Bad Boy and Song Song, who both seem to love Empire Wars. Bad Boy has been grinding Empire Wars very heavily in the recent months, as now Dogao comes in with the soon-to-be crossbows, and those are Saracens. They will break through the walls, and this is why I said that this tower is excessive here on the berries. Now you don't have the stone to make a tower on your gold. And this is a massive blunder here from Song Song. I don't know why he went for a tower on the berries when with Khmer you can just make a house and you are fine. It's not like the berries are a vital resource. Gold is. So that tower should have been here, as now he needs to buy stone for another tower, but that tower is very bad, to be honest. I'm not even sure if it can actually range the crossbows that are just standing here denying the gold mine. Meanwhile, Miguel is not in a great shape either over here economically. He has suffered from quite a bit of a pressure, and that's going to delay his castle age time. Which means that we will have Song Song at least in castle age. So in the moment that this pressure goes away, he's gonna be able to start pumping out knights, which is not actually true for Miguel. Miguel's going to pick off potentially a couple of archers over here with the scouts, although now that reinforcements arrive, those scouts can no longer engage. As it looks like Dogao is also going to disengage, allowing Song Song to get back to his gold mine and start getting some knights out in the next couple of moments. Archers looping around. We have a defensive tower from Miguel on his gold, so he should be safe in that regard. His right side is somewhat open and he overchopped his wood line, so there's a chance for damage to be done there by Bad Boy. Ballistics on the way for Dogao, already at the 20 crossbows heading towards the base of Bad Boy. Defensive tower should protect that gold mine without any problems. On the other hand though, those archers, Miguel will have to make another defensive tower on his wood line. They should not be able to get through these walls here, but if they loop all around here, they could hit the back of this wood line. Meanwhile though, Dogao dives in beneath the tower and he's like, okay, I'm fine absorbing some damage on my crossbows, losing 1 or 2. I'm just gonna camp down the bottom of this tower. He actually picks off a villager, but now that the crossbows come in from Bad Boy, this is gonna be a hard one for Dogao to micro. He does have ballistics and Bad Boy doesn't, but in exchange there is tower fire coming in here for Bad Boy, and he forces Dogao's crossbows back, plus knights are coming in here to intercept reinforcements. The knights are missing bloodlines, it's just now gonna come in, and +2 defense, so those knights don't really want to take this fight just yet. But Miguel is nowhere close to getting some knights out though. He's just now going into castle age, and that's going to be a serious concern for Heresy here, because now that +2 defense will be in for Song Song, he's gonna be able to assist his teammate cleaning up this army, and then this group of crossbows is looping all the way around, and I don't think that Miguel knows about this. Miguel does not know about this one. He's going to spot those crossbows right now. His base is full of towers right now, but still, that's going to cause a lot of problems for him. Over here, quite a few gold miners going down. It looks like Bad Boy is completely fine losing a couple of crossbows for the sake of picking off gold miners. Miguel is under heavy pressure. Added to the fact that Dogao's army has just been cleaned up here on the right side, and it's getting better and better for Vietnam's strategy B. Here comes the group of knights, and it looks like they're once again heading right to the base of Miguel. They just want to destroy Miguel here and make Dogao play 1v2 apparently. They completely ignore Dogao. They're not even sending anything that way. Although, it looks like these knights could still head towards Dogao. Dogao is sending reinforcements in small groups through the map, so those could easily be intercepted. And look at this, the crossbows are still alive. They are pretty battered, so it's not like they're in very good condition, but they are still here to just keep applying pressure and pick off a couple more villagers. Looks like Dogao is now heading to the base of Song Song, but Song Song could get a perfect surround here. 12 crossbows versus 11 knights. That's a win for the knights. Maybe not unless 9 more crossbows join the party here. But now Dogao is going to have to play this one alone pretty much, because his teammate is pretty much half dead over here. As you see, 35 villagers only for Miguel, by far the lowest in the game. So, regarding eco upgrades, neither Vietnamese player has gotten horse color, by the way, which is a little bit surprising for our Khmer player that wants to be so heavy on food. Also, no horse color for Bad Boy, but with Mayans that's not that big of a deal. Still, looks like we already have 3 TCs for Bad Boy, 58 villagers, the best in the game. Only 1 TC for Song Song. Second TC is coming in here for Dogao, and Miguel is just happy to be alive, to be honest. His eco is really battered right now. He barely had any wood. He just made a lumber camp here on this wood line. He's now mining stone, so he will have additional TCs coming in pretty soon, I believe, as Horse Color comes in for both Vietnamese players at the same time. So, crossbow numbers steadily increasing over here for Bad Boy. Same thing for Dogao, and it looks like Dogao is heading towards the base of Bad Boy over here. This could be a nice fight, but it looks like the crossbows will reveal themselves, so there is gonna be some time for Bad Boy to react. He's sending all his crossbows back at home. This is a nasty hill here. Look at how good those Saracen crossbows are still. With the heal bonus and the building attack bonus, they actually shred that archer range, and that nasty hill in front of the base of Bad Boy is definitely going to hurt him, because those crossbows could just evaporate that archer range. Defensive Siege Workshop coming in here, as these crossbows are still denying the wood lines of Miguel. These crossbows are the MVPs of this game so far, and it looks like the big group of knights is once again heading to Miguel. I think they just want to completely destroy Miguel here at this point. This many knights might be able to just jump on the TC as well, and that would basically eliminate Miguel from the game. And if that happens, then Dogao, I don't think he can play 1v2 in this one, because then the Mayan player can switch into Eagles. If Miguel loses everything here, the Mayan player should just switch into Eagles, and they are all fine. It looks like they will now be heading towards Dogao, because guess what? Dogao is the only player with an army here for the Brazilians, but he has to defend his teammate, so his base is now wide open. This may have just been a decoy attack, to be honest. Maybe that was the plan for the Vietnamese team. They said, okay, let's make sure Dogao goes in here. And you see Dogao is here with his army. Everything is now converging on his base, as there is not really any openings. But this could be a good fight here for Song Song. He could take the hill and get some downhills attacks on those crossbows. That's exactly what he's doing. And what's bigger is that Bad Boy's crossbows are also getting close to the base of Dogao. Dogao is close to Imperial Age pickup, same thing for Bad Boy over here, but Dogao is gonna face a lot of pressure in the next couple of minutes. And his army is heavily mispositioned because he's forced to defend Miguel. By the way, these crossbows can still come back and hit Miguel. The way that Bad Boy is able to use those crossbows is just brutal. And it looks like the crossbows might just run past the TC. There's so many crossbows here and some knights as well to absorb the arrow fire that you can just commit to this one. It's risky because you just clicked into Imperial and you don't want to lose your army, but they probably feel like their army is much bigger and they can do decisive damage here to Dogao, as the villagers keep going down here from our blue player, and they will just break through this gate and escape. Very nicely done there by Bad Boy. Knights are now coming in by Miguel, as he's actually cleaning up quite a few crossbows over here. The knights do have +1/+2, so they're not joking around. And a couple more knights here to raid could actually get will kills, and the ecos are no longer that far apart. Now, Dogao is now losing a massive amount of villagers, so that's not gonna help. But if Miguel is able to hit this gold mine, then he might be able to give themselves a shot to retaliate and give themselves a shot to come back into this one. At this point, Dogao and Song Song are the players with the highest will count on their teams, but obviously Bad Boy is not that far away. Bad Boy losing a couple of villagers here on the gold mine for now. Miguel is still very far from rebooming. He's adding the second TC right now. At this point, the hope for the Brazilians is that they can make this game very long and potentially try to get some raiding damage in. And with such a raiding damage, you can definitely start to even out the villager count. It's still a very, very long shot because Bad Boy is Imperial and neither of the Heresy players are Imperial just yet. But I think the key thing right now is that Miguel needs to keep raiding with those knights. He doesn't have a lot, but stretching out the attention of the Vietnamese team will buy time for Dogao's team, and time is what they really need here. Arbalest and Bracer now coming in for Bad Boy. It kind of feels like Dogao wants to take a fight here, but they don't have to, and they shouldn't. Dogao should just stick into Imperial, retreat a little bit, and use the Knights of Miguel to raid the eco of Bad Boy, force him to defend here. So, looks like a crossbowman fight is gonna happen here, but those guys already have bracers, so this is not a fight that Dogao wants to take anymore. And more crossbows, soon to be arbalests, are coming in here. I feel like it was a mistake from Heresy to move this deep with their army, because they'll get surrounded now. And if this army goes down, the game is over, and Heresy knows that exactly. Maybe if they went a little bit more defensive after they pushed back the Vietnamese team, and then tried to go Imperial with Dogao, that could have helped. But obviously, if this army goes down, it's over. We have 47 army for Heresy, and I see pretty much 31 of that on the screen, and this army would have been destroyed by the Arbalasts. So, Vietnam strategy B, bit of an upset over here on Arabia. They played really strong. Miguel had a rough first game over here. He took so much damage in Feudal, and he was never really able to come back from that. Miguel, he didn't lose that many villas, and in fact, if you look at 16 villagers killed, 16 villagers lost, doesn't feel like it's very bad. It's about the timing of those villagers lost. Because Miguel lost a lot in Feudal, that set him back so much and pretty much stopped his economical expansion. Whereas on the other side, those villagers were lost here in late game for Bad Boy and Song Song. So it wasn't about the amount of villagers lost, it was about when those villagers were lost. And that definitely favored the Vietnamese team over here. So Bulgarians and Saracens not working out over here for Heresy, whereas on the other side, Khmer and Mayans probably carrying the torch over here, but Khmer also performing pretty decent, especially the cavalry move, baiting Dogao into the base of Miguel and then turning back and hitting Dogao was probably a very, very nice move. 1-0 for Vietnam strategy B over here. This is a very open group, by the way. This is the group where we have ACCM and Bacti, they are Vietnam legends, Vietnam strategy B, Bad Boy and Song Song, Heresy, Miguel and Dogao, and Hellis and Blink. So this is a pretty open group over here, as you see. Seems like we have a fairly competitive set here to start the day with, or at least it was in the favor of Vietnam strategy B in the first game, but considering that on paper Miguel and Dogao are the stronger team, we could be in for a competitive set. So, home maps of Miguel and Dogao, Cape of Storms or Cavasan are the options for the Brazilians over here. And it very much seems like we're going to see Cavasan over here. Let's get going with game number 2 in this one. So, welcome to Cavasan. We do have Vietnamese for Dogao in blue over here on the right side. We will have on the left side of the southern part of the map, Miguel as Malians in green, a civilization that many love for Cavasan. There's very few civs that can afford a stable, an archer range, and a dock at the beginning here on Cavasan. So this is why Malians is a sneaky civ pick for this map. It has a very good start. You can pretty much go for a dock almost immediately, and also go for a stable for the scouts, as you see Miguel doing right now. Whereas on the other side, we'll have Malay for Bad Boy in yellow, going for a range, and we will have Kumans for Song Song in red. That's the same thing as Malians here. Cheaper stable means you can afford a stable and a dock immediately. So that is why we're going to see scouts and fishing ships from both cavalry players, and on the other side, we'll have obviously archers from Bad Boy and archers as well from Dogao. So, for now, a bit of a scout scuffle over here. It looks like everybody but Miguel is able to squeeze in double bidax. Nice quick wall over there to prevent the scout from running in. But there is already an archer on the way, and the spearman is accompanying him, so that scout isn't really gonna be able to take a good fight. Oh boy, Miguel once again kind of feels like he might be the punching bag of this game. Has to make a defensive tower on this gold mine, but honestly this tower is not good. It would be better if it was here, but the base of Miguel is so open that at this point this protects the hunt, the stone, the gold. Later on this could be a problematic tower over here. So we're gonna have archers now denying this wood line. Miguel for now has a backup wood line to play with. as he's gonna have to call all his scouts back home to take this fight. Defensive tower should be able to keep those archers at bay here on the gold, and once again, Miguel is the punching bag. Miguel is the punching bag quite a bit here. First villager goes down over here. Meanwhile, though, we do have villagers going down as well from Song Song, so Dogao is here to retaliate. Dogao killed 2 villagers so far. Miguel just lost 1, so that's a slight advantage right now for the Brazilians. We do have Fishing Eagle coming in here for Dogao and the Bad Boy as well. Here come the scouts from Song Song to try and pressure this gold mine. Behind this one, though, Dogao is doing a pretty decent job just harassing the eco of Song Song over here. Song Song looks like he doesn't really care about these archers for the time being. He is going to have some very awkward looking walls over here. What is that wall even looking like? As the scouts will now jump on that tower. There is a couple of scouts here for Miguel, so he could take this fight, and he does. The scouts have no upgrades on either side, but looks like this is actually a win here for Song Song and the Bad Boy, because they're able to just idle all those villagers. Not a lot will be killed, but right now the gold income for Miguel is non-existent. And you see that his eco balance overall is all over the place. This could once again delay his castle age timing, and the same snowball that we witnessed in the previous game could happen. For now, the guys got some archers and spears over here, but they're not able to accomplish much. Whereas for Bad Boy and Song Song, I kind of feel like they're combining their armies a little bit better. So Dogao went forward, picked off 2 whales from Song Song, but that was it. Whereas on the other side, Bad Boy and Song Song combined their armies and did probably a lot more damage on Miguel's eco. Here, first to castle age will either be Bad Boy or Song Song, I believe, although Dogao is not far away from clicking up either. This could be a good push, though. This could be a very good push from Dogao. He's going to intercept 2 villagers here. That has to be 2 dead villagers. At least it gives a chance for Bad Boy to retreat. Defensive tower now scrambled on the gold mine, as the wood line of Miguel also gets hit here, though. That's a problem for Heresy. Every time they kill a couple of villagers from the Vietnamese team, they get retaliated immediately at the base of Miguel, and that villager actually is gonna go down. The scouts will have to be sacrificed, at least one of them, for the cause, but still. So at the end of the day, Bad Boy lost 2 villagers over here, but Miguel also lost 2, and he's about to lose a couple more. Miguel just has nowhere to go. That's the other problem he's facing. He's on the way to Castle Age. The first one to Castle will be Bad Boy here. With Malay, that's no surprise, as these archers could just camp behind this wood line and make life very miserable for Miguel. That's not the wood line that you like to see in competitive Age of Empires. It feels a little too crowded to my taste, but that's just my opinion. Meanwhile, we're gonna have archers from Dogao coming in, and I kind of feel like the combined armies of Bad Boy and Song Song are doing more against Miguel than the smaller groups of archers and spearmen of Dogao. Obviously, it's really hard for Dogao without cavalry support to play this now, but I think that the start was just better for the Vietnamese team. They combined their forces earlier and managed to push Miguel to a pretty deep pit, and honestly, Miguel is lucky that that scout didn't continue his journey to the right. Hold on. Hold on, is he gonna find that dog? Oh my goodness. Everything is falling apart for Miguel over here. Looks like Song Song didn't notice this. That's lucky, because that way that dog is at least going up. The villager might die to the archers, but at least that dog is going up. I don't know what these archers are doing out here. They were probably looking for the villager, but the dog goes up. Meanwhile, speaking of dogs, we have a contested pond over here between Bad Boy and Miguel. Fire Galley is out for Miguel already, and Miguel is also picking off a villager here with his scout. So, hold on for a moment, because Miguel may have seemed like he was the punching bag, but that's not even remotely true. Bad Boy actually is stonewalling this corner off, but one thing he doesn't know is that Miguel has a villager here, and that villager could just hide in the corner, and that could potentially be great for forward stables and just disintegrate that economy as it is. Fishing ships coming in here for Miguel. He's using this dock for War Galley, which means Bad Boy gets forced off from the water. Crossbows coming in here for Dogao. They are actually here to stop this wall, I believe, because probably Song Song wanted to wall off the side just like Bad Boy did as well. And now, things are looking better and better for Heresy. There is so many things going on at the same time. Miguel winning the pawn here on the left side. The villager will get picked off at the end, so that's that. We have knights running around the base of Miguel here for a time being. Bad Boy also has crossbows. Miguel can only do fishing pretty much in terms of food eco. He doesn't have any farming right now, no berries, but he has 2 pawns now for fishing, and that's something that's worth considering. Bad Boy is coming in here with the crossbows, and he could pick off the fishing ships though. While behind this one, Dogao is increasing his crossbow numbers quite rapidly. He's up to 24. Defensive mangonel from Song Song over here against the crossbows. A lot of farming space is lost here for Song Song as well, as the crossbows are now trying to deny the fishing eco. Good news for Miguel is that he can take this fish and drop it off over here, as now he's gonna have 2 completely uncontested pawns. So the food eco starts to become better and better for Miguel over there, and worse for Song Song. Here come the knights. Couple more villagers go down over here for Miguel. Villager count is still pretty much even over here because Miguel is losing a lot more on land, but Heresy is securing water for themselves. A sneaky dock was coming up here for Song Song, but that's just gonna be destroyed by Dogao, so they'll have 3 pawns over here for the time being. Crossbows, however, hitting the back of this wood line. Over here, Miguel now has some knights in here, but the knights don't have +2 defense, so this is not gonna be the best fight ever for Miguel. He should have the numbers to clean that one up though. Still, 3 pawns right now for Heresy, only 1 for Vietnam, as Dogao is looking to try and combine his armies here. Beautiful ground attack there by the Kuman player, getting a pretty decent hit on those crossbows. No one actually dared to contest the middle just yet. For now, Dogao added the second TC back at home, and he's mining stones. He's probably preparing maybe a castle in the middle, and then Rattan Archers is on his mind right now. Whereas we see a random Step Lancer over here for Song Song. I wonder if that's just a mistake, because their pierce armor is lower, so you probably prefer knights when it comes to fighting archers. Song Song looks like he's just gonna commit against the stables of Miguel. Miguel doesn't really have the army to fight this one. He only has 8 knights, and Dogao is not really close to help, but what Dogao is close to is the base of Bad Boy here, and due to an overchop, that's gonna be a lot of villagers. That's gonna be an awful lot of villagers dead from Bad Boy over there. That overchop costing him dearly. He's down to 48 vills. Song Song is at 57, but look at Dogao. 66 vills, big group of archers, and he's about to go to Imperial. His stone count is increasing, so Rattan Archers will be a thing soon. Although this might be the perfect surround here by those knights. They also have +1 attack, so all those crossbows might just go down. And that's gonna hurt for Dogao because he wanted to upgrade those 2 arbalests. Still, he's the player with the best economy in the game, as the crossbows now arrive from the other side. The concern here for Heresy is that the cavalry player of the opponent is much stronger though, and now the entire army was cleaned up. So, guess what? It's a 9 villagers lead, now 10 villagers for Heresy, but the army numbers are much better for Bad Boy and Song Song. The demo is out here as well, trying to bait those knights into a massive demo blast, and it looks like now they're heading to Dogao. Dogao knows exactly the pressure is coming, making multiple ranges over here on the way to Imperial, and also reinforcing his walls. That's a very, very smart thing that he is doing. Miguel trying to open up this wall here so that there's a little bit more chance to push the back of Bad Boy's eco. 30C on the way for both Bad Boy and Song Song, but neither of them are close to imping here. So, crossbows now coming in. We have a +1 defense versus +1 defense over here, and the knights are also in here. The problem for Dogao could be if those knights just run past the TC and run into his eco, and that's exactly what he is realizing. On the other hand, I'm not sure how long you can actually keep those houses alive there, and there's a lot of space here that you could hit with your knights. This could be a problem for Dogao. If those knights run into his eco is gonna collapse. Looks like they are unable to do that right now, but they will just jump on the TC, and now they take down the house. Oh boy. Dogao is in trouble. He invested a lot of resources into Imperial Age, but he now doesn't have the army to defend his base. 34 crossbows versus 11, and now that is a massive amount of villagers killed, and even more so will lose their life. At this town center, that is concerning for Dogao at minimum. You see, Dogao is repairing this TC now, but that just means that the Knights will get a couple more villager kills. Miguel is coming in here with the cavalry to help, but I think the damage has already been done. The TC goes down, and Dogao is going to lose the majority of his vills. He has 14 crossbows that will soon be arbs, but that's not much. And remember, Bad Boy is Malay, which means that now he can react really fast to the Imperial Age of the opponent. If he clicks up soon, he doesn't really have the resources for it, but he could idle his TCs a little bit and maybe use some market trickery as well. Then he can reach Imperial pretty fast. Now it's Arbalest for Dogao, but doesn't really have the numbers as the Knights dive in. Dogao is in trouble here. The crossbows here will be intercepted. That's actually a very, very nice fight for Miguel, though. That is a perfect surround, in fact. All those crossbows from Bad Boy will go down. But it looks like Bad Boy and Song Song don't really care. They just want to completely annihilate the eco of Dogao, and they are on pace to doing that. 48 villagers only for Dogao. Now Miguel has more. Now Miguel has more villagers than Dogao does. Dogao is losing basically all his eco here. So, with that, Imperial Age is still not on the horizon for either of the Vietnamese players over here, so you're most likely going to be sticking with full Castle Age pressure, or at least that's going to be the case from Song Song, who could make kept rams, by the way. There is the battering rams, and kept rams could actually work out nicely. Knights jumping on top of the Arbs, and while the Arbalests are better technologically, they're still missing chemistry. They don't have a lot of armor upgrades, so a flood of Knights might be able to deal with this one, and that's exactly what we're seeing over here. Just a flood of Knights here from the Kuman player, and that should be enough to keep those Arbalest numbers low and buy some time for Bad Boy to go into Imperial. Miguel is now flooding Knights himself. That's something that needs to be considered, that Miguel is back on track in Knight production, but here's the battering rams taking out the production buildings. It's all about delaying Dogao in those Arbs, and they're doing that right now, and that's a castle drop. That's a castle drop here by Song Song. I think that's going to be right in the face of Miguel if they can pull that off, but I have doubts about that. It might be just safer to go for the castle over here, then go for a mill and just get your food income from the berries and pick up the relics. There goes the battering ram. I think that Bad Boy needs to get to Imperial, and now he's working towards that, idling his TCs quite a bit, and he's going to reach Imperial pretty fast. I think market spots are being pinged here by Bad Boy. Otherwise, I don't know why he would actually be pinging that corner. Knight number is increasing steadily by Miguel. Does have +1/+2 as well. But Imperial Age is going to be on the way for Bad Boy. And the overall eco is much, much better right now for Vietnam. So that's the key thing here. Overall economy is just massively ahead. And in the moment that Miguel sends his knights this way, Song Song could potentially send his knights towards the base of Miguel. Miguel is still playing pretty open. A couple of knights arrive over here. Song Song's villagers will get intercepted, but looks like Miguel does not care. Also, fishing ships are running out here for Song Song, so there is some things to do inside his economy. He needs to fix his eco in this one. 2 towers defending the gold mine over here. Can actually grind down those Arbalest numbers to a little lower count. Right now, they are, I think, fine losing a couple of villagers here for Song Song, as long as Bad Boy is able to get his Arbalest upgrade and take this fight as it is. Knights running past the castle over here on this side. So Miguel is trying to trickle in a couple of knights into the eco of Bad Boy. Looks like Song Song is losing a lot, but still, 104 villagers remaining. He has a lot of idols, so he's got 40-ish idols. But at least when the dust settles and when these knights are gone and when these Arbs are gone, he will still have his villagers, right? Arbalest is coming in soon for Bad Boy, but he's leaving his teammate here to die. This might be a fatal mistake. If those Arbalests stay here, they can clean this up with the support on the knights, and honestly, if you lose this much farming space, you're gonna lose a lot here. Now the Arbalests are coming, but this is actually a longer cleanup than what it's supposed to be, and this is buying a lot of time for Dogao, and a lot of time for Miguel. Here come the Knights once again, and I think they will take down this TC as well. There is way more losses here for Vietnam than what they should have suffered from. Too many villagers lost here, too many TCs lost, and the Arbalists are just now coming in. Miguel coming in with the raids. He had an awful start to the game, but now he is the Cavalry Whisperer. Because his raids are starting to be more and more impactful. Look at all the dead bodies. Song Song's eco is collapsing down to 75 vills. Villagers dead here, villagers dead here. Villagers dead everywhere. And behind this one there is also Miguel getting some knights into the eco of Bad Boy, but Song Song's eco is collapsing over here. It is absolutely falling apart. And now all they need to do is just, you know, play a long game here. Because look at the villager count, dead even. And the cavalry player is actually in a bad spot. Miguel now has even villager count compared to the Kuman player here. A couple of knights do get trapped. But look at the knight numbers. 35 versus 22. The biggest deal for Song Song is that he lost so much farming eco, which means that his knight production will suffer really badly. Song Song still has gold income, but this definitely wasn't ideal over here. And this also allowed Miguel and Dogao to buy some time for Dogao and get some Arbalests out. 56 Arbs now for Dogao with +2 defense. Only to 41 for Bad Boy. And these are Vietnamese Arbs with extra HP. And look at the knights from Miguel here. He has lost a lot of villagers at the beginning, but if you look at the overall villager KD, now it's working. 42 villagers killed, 19 lost. That's exactly Miguel's showing here in this game. And his cavalry is more and more impactful now, as the Arbs are still around here for Bad Boy, but this just means that Bad Boy is pinned inside the base of Song Song. Song Song has a castle, but this is Song Song's most reliable food income. Bear is in the middle. That's pretty much it. So, now the knights arrive to take this fight over here. If Song Song runs into the base of Miguel with his knights, I feel like there is still a chance for the Vietnamese team to carve out the lead. And they now once again have about 20 villagers, but this went from a massive advantage on the side of Vietnam to a relatively even game. But Imperial Age is coming in for Song Song, and he still has a lot of knights. These Arbs will trade off against each other, not really suitable for the Malay player over here, because Vietnamese Arbs are obviously way better. And indeed, that's a cleanup. Dogao still at 55 Arbs versus 22. But the knights of Song Song are coming in, and they're going to try and take down Miguel now. It makes some sense. Force Miguel to retreat with all his knights, as those Arbs now start marching towards the base of Bad Boy over here. They could find a lot of villagers once again from Song Song over here, as another TC goes down, which is the Imp TC, by the way. It's this one. This is a relatively safe town center, so Imperial Age should come in for Song Song over here, as villagers are now going down. If Imperial Age comes in and these knights are still alive, there is a good chance that the Vietnamese team will actually swing this back in their favor, because Cavalier is not something that Dogao will be able to deal with easily here. But that's a long 1.5 minutes until Imp, and then some more time until Cavalier and +4 defense. Villager count still in the favor of Vietnam, as a castle goes up here. This should limit the movement of those Arbs, although I think they can just run past here, and they will. They will just run past over here. The castle in the middle is being shelled by bombard cannons. Defense is being mounted by a couple of villagers repairing. Bombard cannons are firing up hills, so it's gonna take some time until they can actually take this castle down. And it looks like those Arbs will just be chilling there in that little corner. Arbalests from Bad Boy dispatched to deal with them. And I like how Song Song is actually just saving these knights over here. I would also love to see him garrisoning them inside the castle to heal them up a little bit, because he needs those knights to be Cavalier. Ecos are now even, slight advantage in military for Miguel and Dogao, but Dogao has a big army over here that may pretty much get trapped. And what's more important is that Arbalest will start struggling when Cavaliers hit the field. So that's where things could start going bad for Dogao. On the other hand, Bad Boy is now forced to do a mass migration over here with his villagers, and it was Team Vietnam who was on the defensive for a long time. Fish traps are up as well for both sides now. Miguel is still killing an awful lot of villagers here. Big arrow fight over here on the north. +4 defense is in for both sides now. Vietnamese arms will still win this one eventually, but at this point Bad Boy just wants to grind down these numbers and now capitalize on the fact that they have 2 Imperial Age players versus 1. They're waiting for Cavalier. Are they gonna wait for Paladin? I don't think so. And it looks like the cavalry will loop around and hit these ARPs from the back. The castle's still standing in the middle. Song Song's eco has taken a massive beating, but he has 5 relics in the middle, which obviously helps quite a bit. Imperial Age coming in here for Miguel. I think if he gets to Imp, this game is gonna be better and better for Heresy. Miguel's Knights are just slaying so many villagers here. His villager KD is gonna be absolutely sick at the end, but is there enough time here for Heresy? Because all those arts are gonna get surrounded by the Cavalier, and Miguel is still 2.5 minutes away from Imp. That's the problem. It's 2 Imperial Age players against 1 now, and when the Cavaliers pop out, they will just disintegrate all those arts. Looks like they are targeting the traps, as one trap goes down, this castle stays up as well for Song Song. This is a massive win over here. The Cavalier coming in clutch, and while Song Song and Bad Boy had been losing incredible amounts of villagers to the Night Raids of Miguel, now it's gonna be Cavalier. Also worth pointing out that, you know, Miguel will need Farimba Cavalier, versus on the other side you will have the Kuman Paladins, as Song Song will now go in for the raid. He's got the better army, so this is the moment to push this one. Meanwhile, Cavalier trying to break into the base of Dogao, who's getting some siege workshop walls up to prevent that. But his Arbalest numbers aren't looking great now, 16 only remaining, and now the raids will start happening on the other side, and I feel like by the time Miguel reaches Imperial, he could lose too much eco, or his teammate could lose too much. That's the alternative. Still, very nice raids by Miguel, so absolute credits to him. He has killed 78 villagers in this game, and it's far from being over. Arbalest now in as well for Bad Boy, but now Miguel's got basically no operational economy. 92 villas, 58 of them are idle. He clicks Cavalier, and he has Iron Casting coming in as well. Elite Rattan Archer coming in here for Dogao, but I kind of feel like that's a bad move. You only have 2 castles here, one of them being targeted by Trebs. I don't think that you should go to Rattan Archers just yet for Dogao. Meanwhile, Miguel now losing a lot of villagers here at the back, so he killed an awful lot this game, but his eco is still quite a bit behind thanks to these pushes by Bad Boy. You see that Miguel was trying to trap those Arbalests over there, and those Knights will take the fight before +4 defense comes in. That's a problem. More Knights will die than they're supposed to, so that is not ideal over there for Miguel. Miguel's gonna have 24 soon-to-be Cavalier. On the other side, we're looking into 30, as ecos are now in the favor of Vietnam strategy B over here. There is so much chaos in this game, because both sides have lost massive amounts of villagers in this one, and at the end it kind of feels like it's an even game, but Paladin now on the way for Song Song, whereas on the other side Farimba comes in. Farimba's gonna be in faster than Paladin, so there is gonna be a window here for Miguel. 2 traps will target that castle, but Farimba will finish before that. So there is no problem here with Farimba. Second castle coming in here for Dogao right now. He's massing Rattans. And if a large amount of Rattans get onto the battlefield, suddenly Song Song and Bad Boy will have trouble. Because the Paladin is probably better than the Farimba Cavalier by a narrow margin. On the other hand, the Rattan Archers will outplay the Arbalests a lot here. Here come the Cavalier. Now they have Farimba. As I said, this is the window that you want to hit. These are 12+7 Cavalier, and these guys are 12+1 Cavalier. Castle still standing over here, just enough villagers to repair against 2 Trebs, as Dogao is getting another castle up. Over here, there's still a lot of gold on the outside, so trade is not even remotely close for either of these 2 teams. Paladin 50 seconds away. I feel like if Heresy takes a fight right now, they will have a decisive win in that. But, oh boy, are they gonna take it? Blast Furnace on the way, Paladin 30 seconds. Every second matters now, because Now it's all about just grinding out that 20-something seconds. You might even sacrifice your traps for that, retreat with the archers to the hill, to the choke point, and wait for the paladins to unpop. In fact, what you should do is exactly what Song Song is doing. Loop around with the paladin and surround the ARPs from the other side. And I feel like Heresy has realized that there is problems coming in here. If that happens, paladin is in, Blast Furnace will be in 50 seconds, the Cavalier will meet the paladin in the battlefield, and that is actually alright for Heresy, because that means the Ratans can fight the ARPs directly. But this is a win, I think, for Song Song, and this is better numbers on the other side for Bad Boy. They are going to destroy the army of Heresy over here. Indeed, some of those ARPs are also firing downhills, obviously helps quite a bit. And indeed, the Paladin, even without Blast Furnace, destroyed the Cavalier with Farimba. Ram's already on the way, but from Bad Boy. Right side, looks like Song Song wanted to expand, but there is going to be a castle for Dogao here, and he's going to start trickling Rattan archers into the economy of Song Song. So Vietnam is still on a bit of a timer because Dogao seems to be pretty strong on the right, but it seems like now they're going in for the kill on Miguel. Miguel is down to 8 army, and I feel like you're not gonna stop 30-something paladin running into your eco. Miguel is going for panic castles. He needs to get something that just slows this one down, but I don't think that's gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. First TC going down here, and that castle is probably not even going up. The other one probably will. On the right side, Rattans are coming in. Song Song is actually not finishing this castle for whatever reason. There is some Rattans coming, but it would have been better to just get that castle. And I see Halberdiers for Dogao. He's getting scale mail, and the only reason to grab it would be Halberdiers. In this one, look at this. Bad Boy is actually stonewalling this side over here for his teammates. Song Song has had some rough moments against Dogao over here, but I kind of feel like the team coordination may be slightly better here for the Vietnamese team. And now the Rattan archers, they would disintegrate those ARBs, but not the Paladins. The Paladins will take down the Rattans, and I'm not even sure if that castle goes up once again. Army numbers better and better for Vietnam's strategy B over here. Miguel and Dogao are still hoping to launch a push on the right side, but Paladins are arriving, the castle's gonna go up and traps will probably come out. And we're still looking into a 45 Paladin situation. 45 Paladin, and Song Song is stacking the light cap, which is a bit surprising given the fact that the map should still have quite a bit of a gold here, but maybe he's running out on this side. In fact, they are setting up markets for trade, so they're playing for the very long situation here. Doc from Miguel is gone here, so his fishing eco now is idle. He's getting his Cavalier numbers back on track, but the thing is that you might not have enough Cavalier to deal with 56 crewman Paladins here. They run past the quick gates over here, straight into the eco of Dogao, and that's where Miguel calls the GG. Surprise in the making, Vietnam strategy B so far with 2-0 scoreline over here. What a game this was. Very, very back and forth. You see how all over the place the imp timings are. It tells you all these power spikes. Massive power spike here for Dogao also meant that Song Song lost a lot here because of that. Then comes in Bad Boy with his own ARBs. And when Song Song reached Imperial, that was the key moment, because he could get Cavalier, destroy the army of Dogao here. This drop in army numbers for Dogao is brutal. That was the Cavaliers surrounding the Arbalests over there. And then the other big fight, this one at the end. The surround with the Paladins. Timings were right for Song Song and Bad Boy, and I kind of feel like they were actually doing a better job just coordinating their moves. Dogao and Miguel played a little bit more individually, whereas Song Song and Bad Boy just double-teamed one player and ended up damaging him enough for them to be able to snowball the game from that point on. Kumans will take a victory over here on Kawasan. Malians will be a loss, alongside Vietnamese also being a loss here for Heresy, and Malay for Vietnam Legends. Well, not Vietnam Legends, Vietnam Strategy B. I'm gonna confuse the Vietnamese teams a lot because, as I said, there's 3 Vietnamese teams over here. So it's not easy to distinguish all three of them over here. And as I said, surprise in the making so far. This is only the first round of the group stage. So even if Heresy loses, they are not out of the tournament just yet. But obviously, it is far from ideal to be down 2 games over here. They have to go for their own home map. The remaining one, Cape of Storms. Let's jump straight into this game over here. Welcome to Cape of Storms. We're gonna have Vietnam Strategy B, Bad Boy as Portuguese in red as flank. Song Song will be yellow Huns in pocket. Other side we'll have Celts for Dogao in blue and Teutons pocket for green Miguel. Miguel's opening with a stable, so is Song Song as expected, as it looks like both players, or both teams, will team up their scouts. This should be favoring Vietnam over here. Nice micro from Dogao to leave, and pretty much both sides have taken equal amount of damage on their scouts. Defensive tower coming in early here for Dogao. He's scared to lose that gold mine, which is a very exposed gold mine over here. He's Celts, which is an interesting choice of civilization here. Your wood income is gonna be nice, which allows you to go for archers and fishing ships pretty easily. But obviously, it's gonna be more about the potential pike and siege push later on in Castle Age, I would say. So I would assume we're going to see a forward siege workshop here from Dogao if we actually get there, because feudal age is gonna be pretty long over here. For now, looks like Heresy is going to be able to hold this position. Scouts looping around for Song Song over here. Looks like the players aren't really taking the elephants right now in this matchup, something that could give you a very, very nice extra food income. The map is indeed fixed position, which means that we are going to have the players being able to select where they start. Scouts jumping on the archers over here. Picking off one archer is definitely good value over there. We have Dogao getting housed for a brief moment. That's obviously going to delay his archer production over here. You got 2 archer ranges on both sides. Portuguese getting a gold discount on the archers obviously helps here as well. Bit like a budget Mayans type of a thing. So Woes were planned here by Dogao, but he just wasn't able to finish them in time. It takes quite a lot of time to finish these woes, especially when you go for double range, even triple range archer production now. And while the scout numbers of Miguel are impressive, their upgrades are kind of underwhelming. No bloodlines, no blacksmith upgrades whatsoever. The other side has no upgrades either, so that's even in that regard. Fishing eco is there for Song Song. He's the only player with fishing economy. That's why they have a 7 villagers lead overall. That is a pretty considerable lead over here, if you think about that, as we now have a bit of a fight going on over here. No more spearmen to join the battle, and the scout numbers are slightly better for Heresy, so they will force back the Vietnamese team over here quite nicely. But behind this one, as I said, the economy is much stronger for Song Song and Bad Boy. Bloodlines is in now. That helps immensely for Miguel, and that's something that Song Song will have to grab for himself. Meanwhile, Bad Boy is piling up a lot of food. Makes me wonder if he wants to go for an early Castle Age click up here, because he's already at 440 in food count. Song Song, he is grabbing scale barding right now. I'd probably say that at this point, Bloodlines might be a better choice, but obviously if you do Bloodlines, your production of scouts will stop, because you have to use the stable for that. So, you have a scale barding on the way as well for Miguel. So, the advantage is now in the hands of Miguel and Dogao army-wise. They have triple range production here for Dogao. He's got +1/+1 on the archers, and what's more important is that Miguel's got bloodline scouts with +1 defense, whereas on the other side, no bloodlines, so those scouts are much, much weaker. Here comes a fight over here. At this point, Song Song and Bad Boy are just trying to stall this one until Bloodlines comes in. It doesn't take forever for that upgrade to come in, but it still takes some time, as that is one of the worst towers I've seen in a long time. What's the point of that tower, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, sure, they don't break into your base, but... Really unnecessary tower there, I believe. Thank you, New Alpha, for the Prime sub for 15 months. Welcome, I appreciate it. So, now Bloodlines is in, and Forging will come in as well for Song Song. So now his scouts are slightly better, but 8 scouts versus 15, and it looks like Miguel is just overrunning the map with cavalry. Dogao and our red player, Bad Boy, is both going into Castle Age, but Dogao has better archer numbers, and what's more important is that Miguel's got better cavalry numbers. So that is massive, and now the archers are a little bit exposed here. It looks like Song Song, he's playing with triple stable, so it's a matter of food income probably, that he wasn't able to flood as many scouts as Miguel does. With Teutons you can add farming eco very easily, so it's pretty easy to establish a good food eco to just pump out scouts, and despite the fact that we have Song Song with a lot of fishing eco, it looks like the food income for Miguel was better, because Miguel is pumping out scouts much more consistently. Both players have free stables, but you even have Hun's stables for our yellow player, which means they work faster. The only way that Miguel has more scouts here is that he has a much more consistent food income. And now, that group of scouts is starting to be very, very scary. So, scouts coming in here, couple of archers accompanying them just in case a couple of spearmen pop out. 64 eco for Song Song. This is a gamble that Vietnam Strategy A is taking here, because Song Song is investing a lot more heavily into economy. Miguel is much heavier on the army side. If they can turtle this out, Song Song's economy is going to be light years ahead compared to Miguel's one. That's something that's worth considering. Quick Wars? Quick Wars? No Quick Wars over here by Bad Boy, although he was thinking about that for a moment, I believe. Crossbows are in for both archer players. Look at the amount of scouts out though. Castle Age on the way for Song Song though. This is such a tricky situation for Vietnam to be in, because their army is much, much weaker, and they are going to lose some villagers here from Bad Boy most likely. By the way, this is why this tower is bad. Now the gold mine cannot be towered. On the other hand, I also don't like how Song Song is chasing 5 damaged scouts with 8. You don't send 8 scouts to chase 5 scouts. You send 4 or 5. Because you don't want to have your entire army chasing the one from the Miguel. Miguel is also on the way to Castle Age. Now it's crossbow v crossbow, there's a bunch of scouts supporting as well. At this point the scouts are just meat shield though. They're pure meat shield. Their only purpose is to pretty much absorb the arrow fire and allow Dogao to take down those crossbows from a distance. Although we have 4 ranges worth of production now, and while the crossbow numbers are definitely favoring Dogao over here, as I said, Song Song is getting closer and closer to Castle Age. I did mention that that tower was horrendous over here, and now there is no defensive tower on the gold mine. Now that forces Bad Boy off from that gold. He's gonna have to make a university for ballistics, but he's gonna clean up these crossbows over here. Crossbows from the other side moving in. This is gonna be the power spike that Song Song is gonna have to use though. Song Song will have a decisive villager lead compared to Miguel. He needs to use the power of the Hunnic stables and pump out a bunch of knights. That's the only way. Because Dogao is definitely ahead of Bad Boy, but Song Song is much more ahead of Miguel. There is light cav even, and chain barring armor. Light cav makes sense over here, although if you're doing those upgrades, you probably don't want to take this fight just yet. Still, crossbows will be going down over here. 4 ranges from Dogao, going for a second TC. 4 ranges as well for Bad Boy. Nice fight here still for Vietnam. They are pretty much double teaming Dogao's forces over here. And those scouts will just distract the light cavalry for a little longer. +2 defense is in, +1 attack as well for Song Song. Now, Miguel is up as well. And Miguel looks like he's also adding fishing eco. Song Song already coming in here with the fire galleys, which means that the fishing eco for Miguel should be gone pretty soon. And the thing that Song Song has to leverage is that he's 72 eco compared to 52. So a pretty considerable eco lead here for Vietnam. On the other side, Dogao's eco is much better than Bad Boy's one. Bad Boy now going for ballistics. Looks like he's staying 1 TC for the time being. Song Song actually sold his stone to go up, so he's not gonna add additional town centers either. Whereas for Miguel and Dogao, they both actually get a second TC up. So we're gonna have 21 versus 25 crossbows over here. +2 attack is coming in for Miguel, so that power spike once again is gonna be nice. And by the way, there's an extra melee armor on those knights, so when it comes to knight versus knight wars, the Teuton ones are better. And you see that Bad Boy, the tower really crippled him, because if he just doesn't make that tower, he could have made a TC here by now. That tower was a horrendous decision. I said this multiple times. The good news is that they take an absolutely marvelous fight over here. Hunnic faster working stables, plus the fact that light cavalry remained from feudal, is going to help quite a bit cleaning up those crossbows, and suddenly army numbers are decisively in the favor of the Vietnamese team. A couple of fire galleys looks like they are just moon sailing. It's not really moon walking, it's more like moon sailing around to hit the fishing eco of Song Song, but they shouldn't be able to accomplish much over here. We got Calcio free with the sub. Thank you so much, I appreciate it a lot. And welcome as well to Dragon's viewers. Thank you so much for the host, I appreciate it. Mangonel popping out now. That could be a big blast. It actually just ends up hitting the knights over here, and then Song Song dives in to snipe the Mangonel. What a fight once again for the Vietnamese team here. And remember, that's a massive eco lead for Song Song in the pocket, now adding 2 additional TCs. And this is where the cavalry player can actually start pulling ahead here. There is 2 TCs for both Heresy members, but if Song Song is just allowed to boom on 3 TCs now, so this fight is just a stalemate here, then he can snowball the game really fast. Still, I think Bad Boy needs to add 1 more town center. Overall, he needs to fix his eco because he's got 3 on food. Really, Bad Boy isn't really having a good time today, and he's supposed to be the stronger of the 2 players. That's the awkward thing here. He's definitely supposed to be the stronger of the 2, but he's having a rough day so far. Crossbow numbers are much better for Dogao because Bad Boy, all he can afford is just to produce crossbows, but he isn't even really making vills either. He just can't really afford production on the TC and the ranges at the same time, and that means that he's gonna be stuck at like 50 vills, whereas for Dogao, he's gonna outboom him. Keep in mind that Dogao is gonna face a dilemma soon, if this goes very long. He's gonna have a bunch of Celtic crossbowmen, and Celtic crossbows don't scale well into Imperial. So, if this game goes long, there needs to be a tech switch at some point from Dogao, because otherwise his crossbows will become obsolete. So Heresy wants to finish this game fast over here. Here comes the Mangonel to do that. And I feel like Song Song just wants to jump on those crossbows with his knights, now getting +2 attack. But once again, look at just Bad Boy in the moment these crossbows arrive here, he's just forced to mass migrate. I really feel like that tower may have just caused him too much trouble. No chance to make a defensive tower here in the future, no chance to make additional TCs. I know I said this multiple times, but it's so weird that Bad Boy is supposed to be the stronger player of the 2, but he's playing a very underwhelming game in this one. And now I feel like he's going back to the gold mine with all those crossbows. Army numbers are very much even, and Heresy is taking over an overall villager count. This fight could maybe be decent here, but I just feel like the knight numbers are pretty even. Crossbows, focusing down the crossbows over here. Teuton knights are better than the Hunnic knights over here, so even numbers actually should favor the Teutons in this matchup. Crossbows are all gone though, and it looks like this might be enough for Vietnam's strategy B to hold. Still, holding and, you know, actually going towards winning the game is 2 different things, and I kind of feel like Vietnam is just not progressing towards victory at all. Bad Boy has been on 50 vills for the last 3 or so minutes. The good news for them is that Song Song is at 105 villagers, the best in the game. The only thing that they can hope for is that they can get to Imperial with Song Song, or Song Song can just go for a massive knight flood. He needs like 7 stables here with this many villagers, and just slowball the game with knights here. So, more stables coming in here for Song Song, Bad Boy, actually finding this gold mine over here for a bit of a safety. And for now, knight numbers are even, crossbow numbers favoring Dogao over here. And I kind of feel like this is the moment where things will start snowballing. Dogao and Miguel just have a much more stable economy, so to say. They never really took a massive beating. In fact, Dogao never lost a villager. Miguel actually lost 5, but those were all fishing ships. So, Miguel just lost 5 fishing ships, that's it. Dogao never lost a villager. That's how safe their economies were the whole time. And guess what? Now, Bad Boy is just running for his life. Oh... Song Song just doesn't have the knight numbers to fight this, that's the problem. It's not about the crossbow numbers necessarily, it's about the fact that you have a player with 111 villagers, but he still has the same knights as one with 83. And you see that Dogao is almost ready to go into Imperial. So, knights now coming in for some raids. Obviously, lack of mobility will haunt the Teutons, but when they have such a big advantage, army-wise, and also now eco-wise, maybe that lack of mobility won't hurt that much. So, right side, knights are now coming in, battering rams as well. Dogao is about to imp here. Dogao and Miguel are also expanding to the north, which gives quite a bit of a safety, so to say, for their economy. Plus, it gives them quite a lot of extra gold eventually. And, well, it looks like Song Song and Bad Boy are cleaning this one up. Song Song and Bad Boy are cleaning this one up. There is still 29 knights here for Miguel. Oh my goodness, mass migration coming in, and it looks like those villagers are running straight into the hands of those knights. The other thing to consider is that Song Song has an insane food eco, partially because of the fish, but it's gonna become more and more inefficient over time, so long term, the Teuton farming is going to pay off. Probably better. Villager count, now in the favor of Heresy. Overall population are still close. So much chaos going on right now. Miguel just everywhere with his knights. Dogao is imping. And I feel like considering that Bad Boy is pretty dead at this point, you could call him Dead Boy. You can just go for Pike and Siege here with the Celts. You should have no problem with Siege Ram Halberdier for Dogao. Dogao is actually going for a castle over here, and there is the Halberdier Siege Ram play. That should be able to steamroll what remains of Bad Boy's base. And Song Song alone won't be able to win this, I believe, against Halberdiers, unless he goes for a lot of raids. But it just doesn't feel like he can raid from this direction. And Miguel will just focus all his knights here. He wants to trade off the knights here on top and just don't allow these to come in here. Buy some time for Dogao to get Siege Ram and Halberdiers. No battering rams in production right now for Dogao though, as Bad Boy is still 47 villagers. He's gonna be forever stuck at 47. Now, this is the way back into the game for Vietnam. If there's any way back, then it is this one. Raiding and raiding. Because if you can actually push Miguel and Dogao down to a deep pit in terms of economy, you might be able to just overrun them with cavalry, but that seems to be somewhat unlikely given the fact that Song Song is losing villagers just as much as the Heresy players do. Halberdier coming in, still missing a lot of upgrades. In fact, they only have scale mail, not even a single attack upgrade. It's going to take some time for Dogao to get those out, but he's not in a hurry, honestly. That's a pretty sizable force of knights over here, but Miguel has the same amount of knights here, pretty much. That's the story of the whole game here. Miguel always had the same amount of knights as Song Song. Song Song now trying to jump on that TC. There's quite a few villagers inside, and Song Song is planning to imp here. But I think by the time he gets to Imperial, he's going to lose most of his knight numbers, and that's going to be a problem. If he actually was able to preserve his knight numbers, get to Cavalier, then maybe there was a hope, but not like this. He's pretty much playing 2v1 at this point, because there is Halberdier and Rams coming in from Dogao, and there is gonna be I think soon Cavalier as well for Miguel. He's probably thinking about Imperial Age as well. He's gonna be a little bit behind, but not by that much. Miguel's cavalry do get cleaned up, but the numbers are still pretty even. And these crossbows are still getting some value for themselves. Just trying to deny some farming eco over here. And as I said, we're just waiting for the death blob to start rolling here. Might even be Habadir and Onager because there is still a couple of archers out. In fact, there is 34 crossbows. Nothing to be ashamed of with that. But at this point, Dogao is just gonna trade off those crossbows to the opponent's one, just to make sure that there is limited amount of crossbows he fights with his Habadirs. And Habadirs are running straight towards the base of Song Song. They don't even care about Bad Boy's presence in here. So, Capped Ram is already in, but no rams in production right now for Dogao. He's mining stone, so either a defensive castle on the north or a forward castle over here. Both are options right now. And Miguel has been killing so many villagers this game. Miguel has killed 52 vills, 5 losses on the villager front. That is brutal. The last 2 games, it was all about Miguel killing the villagers on the side of Song Song and Bad Boy. This time around, though, they managed to actually close the game out over here, because this is now just snowballing out of control. 150 villagers against 234, and with that, Song Song and Bad Boy call the GG. Heresy is not gonna get 3-0'd over here. It would have been an enormous upset if they did get 3-0'd, though you never know. As I said, looks like these 2v2 Empire Wars settings can surprise a lot of teams over here, but Heresy strikes back in here. Portuguese and Huns did not work out for Vietnam. Celts and Teutons apparently was a better choice by Heresy. Very aggressive map that they have chosen as their second home map, and it also paid off over here. Heresy now maybe trying to mount a comeback over here. So, now we're going to the home maps of Vietnam Strategy B, and this is the difficulty that Miguel and Dogao are actually facing over here. They will have to fight the other 2 remaining games on the home maps of the opponents. So, they lost one of their home maps and they lost Arabia, so they have to take away 2 home maps from the opponent to have any chance at coming back into this one. We'll jump straight into game number 4 over here. At this point, we have Britons, Burgundians, Koreans, Slavs remaining for Vietnamese alongside Japanese, whereas for Heresy, Magyars, Italians, Incas, Sicilians, and Berbers are the civs remaining. The map is going to be Atacama over here, as we will jump into the first game in this one on Atacama. You're going to see a bit of a chatter over here. That is because the players have noticed that one player always spawned with 2 more villagers. So what that meant is that one team would have had an advantage, and what they did is that the player that spawned with 2 more villagers actually ended up deleting those. So you see, it's now an even start for the 2 teams. We're gonna have Slavs for Song Song in yellow on the right side, and we're gonna have Koreans for Bad Boy in red, Incas for Dogao in blue, and we're gonna have Magyars for Miguel in green. Yes, the mining camp can actually spawn inside the gold. That's a known thing for Empire Wars. It can happen in Red Bull scripts as well. Not much that can be done with that. So, we're gonna have Archer opening here from the civilizations on top. Obviously, the egos here will swing the battle in the favor of Dogao, as once again, Bad Boy and Song Song will team up their armies. They're heading straight towards the base of Dogao. This time around, we are gonna have Dogao being double teamed and not Miguel. Miguel sending his scouts towards the base of our yellow player, Song Song over here. One of the reasons why you might actually want to double team Dogao here is because you can defend against the scouts of Miguel with spears early on, as that archer could get picked off. That would be nice value there at the beginning. For Bad Boy, here come the scouts from the other side, archers trying to pick off the spearman. As you see, Miguel is pinging his scouts as well, coming from the other direction as well. Nice micro, by the way, with that scout until this moment. Now he eats a lot of damage from those spears. The spears actually are doing a pretty decent work over here. They damaged this scout very heavily. They took down another scout. Now, though, this spearman goes down over here, so the scouts will be able to take this engagement. Slavs versus Magyars over here. Obviously, early on it favors Magyars in this one, but long term, it's going to be favoring Slavs. Raidline, thank you so much for the 7 months of resub. Welcome back. I appreciate it a lot. Hello, hello. So, we're gonna have scouts coming in here for Song Song, and it looks like they might now be heading towards Miguel. They see that Miguel's scouts are over here, but this could cause Bad Boy to lose all his archers here. So, we're gonna have all the scouts steamrolling these archers over here, not even a single spearman to support, but here's the retaliation. And at this point, Bad Boy is losing army. He had to make a defensive tower here, but he didn't lost a single villager yet. Whereas on the other side, we have a massive amount of villager killing going on. So if Bad Boy is able to preserve his villager numbers here, that's actually better for Vietnam. Because Bad Boy did lose some of his archers, most of his archers, but he didn't lose villagers. Whereas on the other side, Miguel did. So you see, overall economy heavily in the favor of Vietnam. Strategy B right now, 83 versus 76, is a pretty admirable difference over here. Obviously, Bad Boy is not really in a great spot, as the first villager for him goes down. And now, Song Song will be the one getting double-teamed, who just loves towers on berries. I don't know what's up with this guy, but he loves towers on berries. Bloodlines on the way for Miguel, and that will mean that Miguel's gonna have fully upgraded scouts, whereas for Song Song, what is he up to? Song Song doesn't have Bloodlines, doesn't have +1 defense, and he's Slav, so he's supposed to have a good food eco here. Oh boy, this is a disaster though. This could be a game over here for Song Song. All those archers hitting the villagers here, and it's not like there is enough scouts to fight this one just yet. They only have +1 attack, but no +1 defense or bloodlines. You see the archers will out-micro them pretty easily, and I believe that Miguel is coming in here as well with his scouts to finish off the work. I just feel like this is a massive problem right now for Vietnam, because they're forced off from the wood in the middle, and we have Dogao also going into Castle Age here. Dogao is playing out of his mind in this game, and Miguel is using those scouts really well. Reverse sweep incoming? Because it kind of feels like it. Castle Age will be coming in here for Bad Boy as well, as he intercepts a couple of reinforcements. But now, Song Song is gonna face massive problems here. He has +1/+1 now, but still no bloodlines. His opponent is doing double stable scouts, or at least he was doing it. He no longer is producing any scouts here. Whereas Song Song was only one stable, so part of the reason why they got outnumbered is because Miguel actually went for a double stable play in this one. Dogao was also pinging the position of those archers to Miguel here. Miguel comes in with the scouts and is actually gonna intercept the archers over here. A couple of spearmen joined the party, but nice micro over there by Miguel to preserve most of his scouts. Still acceptable fight given the circumstances for Bad Boy. He couldn't really have gotten much more out of this, to be honest. Here come the scouts. Best thing they can do is trade off the archers of our red player to the blue archers. But that has to happen right now because Dogao is in Castle Age, and in half a minute he's gonna have crossbowmen. Castle Age on the way for Bad Boy as well. Bad Boy has barely any army, whereas for Dogao, he's got 16 archers, and I kind of feel like just by looking at the KD of the game, 19 kills for Dogao, 10 losses, 16 and 11 is the count for Miguel. It very much seems like Miguel and Dogao are close to evening this out in this one. Oh boy. Oh boy. So, looks like Song Song is actually gonna be able to hold this wood line with a tower for a time being. Castle Age is on the way for everybody else as well. Both Vietnamese players at 45 villagers right now, second TC coming in for Dogao. The Vietnamese team is definitely on the back foot right now. Only one stable for Song Song. He doesn't even have bloodlines, just now grabbing it. Crossbowman on the way for Bad Boy, and he will have +2 defense immediately, so that sort of compensates a little bit, but not by much, and oh my goodness. Those crossbows don't have ballistics for Dogao, so they won't be that efficient here, but that's still gonna be -5 vills or so for Bad Boy. Lord Doubt smile upon us. Look at Dogao coming in with that push. And I love how he's running past the TC here. He's not just retreating, seeing that the TC is gonna go up. He's gonna run past it and go deeper into the base of Bad Boy. Bad Boy has lost 10 villagers in this game, not killed a single one. Dogao 13-0. Behind this one, by the way, Miguel also has Fishing Eco. He's the only player that is doing any fishing right now. Castle Age is in for Song Song, but I mean, he's still one stable, and now he's mass migrating villagers right into the hands of those scouts. Everything falling apart for Vietnam's strategy over here, as, look at this, Song Song actually wants a TC that's on the gold and on the wood at the same time, but really this is not a great TC spot, to be honest, for him. Neither can he protect it against the crossbowman right now, so I don't even know if that's gonna go up. Second TC on the way for Miguel, who's also dropping a dock on the south. They just feel like they are now in control, and they are just playing safe, building up economy behind that lead that they already have. So, guard towers coming in here for Bad Boy. He apparently just wants to tower rush the middle with the Koreans, and it could actually work. A guard tower here would cause significant problems for Dogao, but that's now 14-15 villagers difference, and it is just increasing. The presence of the knights means that the tower is gonna go down really fast, and the crossbowmen will just camp in this little choke point that could be -5 villagers once again. This is just a brutal destruction here by Miguel and Dogao. All those villagers trying to run for their lives, but at this point, if we take a look at efficiency of economy, 70% worker efficiency for Miguel and Dogao, 50s domain for Bad Boy and Song Song, plus they have been losing villagers very rapidly. 20 kills on Eco by Dogao, 0 losses. That is just near surgical precision. Ballistics is now coming in. He has twice the crossbows as his opponent, also has +2 defense himself, so that's gonna help. Song Song needs to raid their way back into the game. That's the only way it works out. Those cavalry units need to find a lot of villager kills here at Miguel's base, and even then that's gonna be rough. The TC goes up. That's a nice start for Vietnam's strategy over here, but I think 1000 score discrepancy at this point is just massive, and I feel like Dogao is now switching gears. He has had some good games before, but the last 2 games for Dogao were absolutely brutal. And this one is as well. Castle drop coming in here in the face of Bad Boy. Bad Boy, what can he do? He can try to drop a defensive guard tower over here, but Dogao will just sacrifice 5 crossbows to stop that tower and let that castle go up. That castle is going up, and I don't see Bad Boy having a chance of stopping that. Behind this one, there is villagers lost here by Miguel, but it's probably not something that's gonna compensate for this castle going up, and it looks like this is a last-ditch effort here by Bad Boy to get that tower up, but the castle is going up. I don't think that there is a chance for Bad Boy to stop that castle. Indeed, it's gonna go up, and that means that Dogao is gonna be able to deny that wood line over here. The crossbows will seek shelter behind that castle over here. Knights from Miguel coming in to raid the eco of Song Song. So as much as Song Song is raiding Miguel, Miguel is raiding him as well. So that's an even trade of villagers down south, but on the north, Dogao has stomped Bad Boy, and we have an even scoreline over here. Very nice strike back over here by Heresy. Suddenly, it's an even scoreline, and we're going into a decider game. A very important decider, so to say, because it really matters if you win your first set in the group or not, because then you're gonna go into the winner's game, and you won't go to the elimination game. And that helps immensely, obviously. So it's extremely important for Vietnam Strategy B and Heresy as well to secure this final victory, and the momentum seems to be on the side of Heresy now. They were able to take this win with Magyars and Incas over here. Incas may seem like an interesting choice, but if you consider that Mayans and Aztecs were already taken, Incas is probably a decent choice here as your American-style civilization. The other side, Slavs and Koreans, were just not aggressive enough, maybe, because Slavs is one of the slower-paced civilization for this map. Magyars is a lot more aggressive, and that helps a lot at the beginning. Whereas for Koreans, obviously extra armor helps, but in Atacama early game, the cavalry player is probably more important than the archer player, and the better cavalry civ early game was on the side of Heresy. Golden Pit will decide the outcome of this series. 3 civilizations remaining for Vietnam Strategy B. It has to be Burgundians because that's their only cavalry civ, alongside Britons, whereas on the other side, Italians, Sicilians, and Berbers remaining. Berbers is a lock, that's guaranteed. But what's your civ pick here, Sicilians or Italians? Because Italians have the better archer play. Sicilians could be a good cavalry civ, but you already have a cavalry civ with Berbers. And I think that you kind of have to play Berbers Italians here. I prefer Britons over Italians, but I probably prefer Berbers over Burgundians as well. In this one, let's take a look at the final game over here. The winner goes into the winner's match, the loser goes into the loser's match, the elimination one. Let's jump straight into game number 5 over here. So, welcome to Golden Pit, a very traditional map. What we're going to see over here, Britons and Burgundians as expected for Vietnam Strategy over here. Bad Boy with red on top with Britons and Song Song as Burgundians in yellow. And it looks like it's gonna be Berbers Italians at the end. Dogao is gonna be picking Italians in blue. Whereas on the other side, we will have Miguel as green Berbers. So, standard scouts opening here by Miguel, going for the walls. Dogao also heavy on the walls. Wouldn't be surprised to see him trying to go for an early Castle Age over here and try to nail that Castle Age power spike like he did on Arabia. Walls are coming up as well for Song Song, so much so that he's not even going for any production building. This is a risky call. He's grabbing Horse Color, he's grabbing Double Bit Axe, going for these awkward looking walls. In retrospective, it would have been better to wall here, but I think he just scouted this forest, so that's why he's walling like that. Still, it would have been much better to have this wall up here, because then this wood line is very safe. Spearman out to deal with that scout for the time being. Other side, Bad Boy going heavy on the walls as well himself, but he's gonna start making archers. That's an ambitious and very, very long wall here. I feel like this would have been better here in between the house though, and maybe like this, because it's gonna take a lot of time until you get these walls up, and there's already scouts coming in here from Miguel. In a decider game, that's a way too ambitious wall to my taste, and it's not like I see any spearman that's capable of fighting these scouts. 1 or 2 villagers lost here would be a disaster, I think, for Bad Boy, and that's -1 already. It's not like he's gonna be able to stop those scouts from killing more, and the opening is there. The opening is right there, and you see that Dogao is also sending his scout. They know exactly that there is killing time over here, as the openings are still right there. Spearman coming out right now. If you make such a long wall, the minimum is that you have to make a spearman, because otherwise there is no way you get these walls up in time. I think either more conservative walls for Bad Boy or just a preemptive spearman would have helped immensely here. Scouts now trying to gang up on another villager over here. Spearman is gonna be in for the chase. I don't think that those scouts will be able to do that much more, but the damage has already been done. That is 1 villager lost by Bad Boy, plus an awful lot of idle time on those vills. Nice start, I would say, for the Brazilians over here. Archers moving out for Dogao. Looks like we're gonna have Song Song just reinforcing these walls over here, and he won't even invest into a single scout. He just wants to go fast castle into early cavalier here with Burgundians. So, what's gonna happen here is that these scouts will probably try to deny the villagers from repairing, and these guys will try to bash in from the outside. Wouldn't even be surprised to see these archers moving up. Stable on the way for Song Song over here. That's the first production building. as he's clicking up to Castle Age. Other side, the Berber's player is going to be a little later to Castle Age over here, obviously, because he invested into a couple of scouts over here. Whereas on the other side, Dogao is also on the way to Castle Age. Last one to click up will be Bad Boy. So, archers now coming in here to try and do some harassment on the wood line, but they're not accomplishing much. They didn't even have fletching, so their range wasn't impressive. And there's the second stable. The next question for Burgundians is what now? Because their cavaliers will be better than the Berber knights, but the Berber knights are almost guaranteed to flood the map. It's gonna be triple stables for Miguel. So you might be thinking about a third stable as well for Song Song. Burgundians with the early eco upgrades, having a pretty decent economy, should be able to afford triple stable production. It's not going to be easy, but it may be something that they can afford, and it might be needed because otherwise Berbers will just outnumber them. Immediately clicking Cavalier upon reaching Castle Age, queues up some knights, and also probably defense upgrades will be coming in as well for Song Song, who decides to go for the eco-heavy approach, goes for a second TC on the outside on the gold mine. Archers from Bad Boy sort of isolated here in the middle. Let's see what they can accomplish with the crossbow upgrade soon. Archers in there as well for Dogao. Italians will have the better archers when it comes to close combat, but obviously the Britons' extra range is something that's gonna matter a lot. And I kind of feel like Dogao may be overextending here with those archers a little bit. Because those guys could easily get jumped on by a couple of knights, and the crossbows are coming from the back. Reinforcements intercepted here as well. That is so good for Bad Boy. That is so good. Taking down 4 crossbows over here is value, and now the crossbows are coming in, and I think Song Song now needs to pop out his own cavalier, although he doesn't have +2 defense, so it's not ideal, but they could easily get a good surround on those knights, or on those crossbows. Indeed, there they go. It's, I think, a missive problem right now for Song Song that he doesn't have +2 defense, but he's now coming in for it. And since Miguel was later to Castle Age, he's just now starting to make knights, but as I said, he's triple stables. So 2 stables versus soon to be free now for Song Song versus the free of the Berber player. I think that's the right decision for Song Song. 3 stables against Berbers is a must-have. Otherwise, if you can keep up with the production, you are going to have the better cavalry, because you get the extra 2 attack pretty much compared to a knight. So that's an advantage. Looks like Dogao is going to retreat to the hill. Free ranges for him. Whereas on the other side, we'll just have free TCs. Bad Boy is going to go for a big boom over here, as the Cavaliers are hesitant to engage this one, and they shouldn't. Crossbow is now trying to march up on top of the hill. Tumbling on the way for Dogao. This is where the DPS of those crossbows will increase dramatically. Whereas for Bad Boy, he will never have tumbling because Britons don't have it. But he's going to have the extra range, so he's going to be able to micro a little bit easier and just try to keep the distance that way. Where did you study for professional commentator? I didn't. I'm not actually like professional. I didn't study anywhere. I did everything myself. I'm just doing casting. What I'm doing right here, I've been doing for some time. That's it. Alright. So, 51 villagers on both sides over here. As it looks like Song Song is the first one to move into the middle of the pit. That TC is gonna be crucial. Because if it goes up, it gives a very nice foothold for Song Song and Bad Boy, and looks like they are heading towards the cavalry player. This could be dicey, because both cavalry players could be exposed to a pretty massive counterattack, but the stables here pretty much protect the front of Song Song's base, although his gold mine here could be exposed. The backup gold mine is still operational, and it looks like Heresy may not be able to break in here, but this will still force Song Song and Bad Boy back here. The stable is about to go down here, so things could heat up here for Song Song really badly. That's gonna be a stable lost. Looks like their army was just mispositioned at the beginning. You see that Miguel probably spotted those crossbows, wants to avoid the confrontation with them until he just groups up with his teammate. On the other side, though, these crossbow reinforcements are also kind of isolated, so they couldn't link up with these, and it looks like Miguel and Dogao will be able to take the hill here. That is a massive advantage right now for them. On the other hand, as I said, it's easier to micro those Briton crossbows. TC also helping over here, and the cavalry are also in better shape. Better quality with the extra attack over here is going to help quite a bit. Crossbows joining up, and I feel like this is maybe an overextension here from Miguel and Dogao. Especially if the TC starts focusing down those crossbows, this could be big. Miguel is losing a lot of knights, but we have seen this many times in this map's history. Berber is losing knights, but there is always more. There is always more. And oh boy, if there is more knights over here, they will just overrun Song Song and Bad Boy. And that's exactly what happened over here. We are gonna have basically no army remaining for Vietnam strategy over here. And, well, 22 army only for them, 59 on the other side. And that TC is going down. And if that TC goes down, the villagers will go down within. Eco is still better for Vietnam strategy, but they don't have the army to fight this one, and this is an army-heavy map. You can't just boom on top of the hill, you have to make army, and that's why Berbers is such a devastating civ here. The flood of knights is insanely hard to stop, and this will be a reverse sweep here from Heresy. An impressive reverse sweep, I must add. So, that is a surprise in many ways, but you could really feel that the confidence of Heresy increased once they get their first win. And they would take away both home maps of Bad Boy and Song Song, by the way. So, crossbows now moving in. That gold mine is gonna be denied. And I feel like, look at this, Dogao is imping. Dogao is imping here. Heresy has switched into tournament mode now. Lost 2 at the beginning, but then taking away both home maps of their opponents, potentially. Looks like Vietnam might be looking to take a decisive fight over here, but if they don't fight this one soon, the Arbalests will just finish the game over here, guaranteed. Would be absolutely amazing to see such a comeback from Heresy. On the other hand, very heartbreaking for the Vietnam fans over here, because Vietnam looked much better in the first 2 games. As right now it's 18 Cavalier versus 29 Knights. That's relatively even, but much better crossbow numbers for Dogao. And remember, he has thumb rank, he has +2 defense as well, whereas just +1 defense for Bad Boy. They're trying to retreat as much as they can, but that just gives time for Dogao to reach Imperial. So, now all the way back to the TCs they are, and Dogao is just gonna say, okay, whatever, you're gonna sit there, I am going to be completely fine with that, and just go back home, wait for the Arbalest upgrade, and you are all good to go. So, castle in the middle coming in here by Dogao. Right now he's sitting on 54, soon to be Arbalest. Bad Boy is also planning to go Imperial here, which would give him even more leverage when it comes to using that range, but 2.5 minutes off from Imperial, and the bigger deal is that Dogao is gonna have Genoese crossbows production soon, which would just melt all those Cavalier. Even just a couple of Genoese crossbows mixed in could swing the battle in the favor of the Brazilian team so much. Now, pushing up this hill would be a pain here for Dogao, and you might not even want to do it, although it looks like he wants to stop that castle. He wants to push that dagger the deepest possible. The castle goes up though, and this may have been a bit of an overextension, because those archers are suddenly very exposed over here. There's a mangonel coming as well. The mangonel misses the first shot. The second shot, it's not taking it just yet. Oh boy, Arbalest still surviving, but this was everything but a good fight here for Dogao. Now the Mangonel is down, 50 seconds away from Imperial is Bad Boy. They're not giving up on this one just yet, as the Knights are heading straight towards the base of Song Song. The two cavalry players have even economies. Bad Boy, by the way, is much more ahead in economy compared to Dogao. That's something that's worth considering. Trap Wars would also be in the favor of Britons if they get a Warwolf. But, oh, there needs to be a quick wall over there. That's nice from Song Song. It's worth pointing out that elite skirms are coming in for Bad Boy, and that's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign in a 2v2, unless there is no cavalry support from Miguel if he ends up losing all his cav, but it doesn't seem to be likely. Arbalest with basically everything attack side other than chemistry, they will melt those Cavalier from Castle Age, as Bracer and Arbalest are now coming in for Bad Boy. The key thing is preserving those cavalry numbers right now for Heresy, because if those goes down, suddenly the Britons will just out-micro those Italian Arbalests, but no gold income anymore for Song Song. He's out of gold. Basically, this one was consumed, this one has very little left, and he doesn't even have access to it, so they need to secure a gold mine right here, right now, and this is definitely not the safest gold mine I've ever seen in my life. Arbalests now just trying to sandwich these two armies in here. Some light cav will be mixed in as well by Song Song, but Burgundian light cav is just pure sadness, and Miguel is once again just going to finish this game off most likely by denying the gold. This is why Berbers is probably the #1 cavalry civilization on Golden Pit. Whether it is Empire Wars or not, doesn't really matter. The Flood of Knights is insanely hard to stop. Combine it with a one town center Imperial Age for the Arbalests, and you have a very, very nice 1-2 punch. Song Song's TC falls, he's down to 74 bills, but what's bigger is that neither of the Vietnamese players has any gold income, pretty much. So, yeah, a couple more villagers will go down over here, but this may come down to gold control. And I don't see, although the Cavaliers will take down the trap. That's nice, that's a start. But Vietnam would need a miracle to come back into this one. It would actually require a miracle. A miracle like potentially those knights going all down to the Arbs could be something like that. Still, this is a very, very long shot here for the Vietnamese team, especially because Miguel is ready to go into Imperial. Now they have a 30 villagers lead overall. Dogao and Bad Boy have the same villager count, but Miguel is massively ahead of Song Song right now. And it would actually close out the reverse sweep over here. Crab now coming in from Bad Boy. What they're hoping for is that they can take this castle down and secure a foothold in the middle, and then maybe just drag this out for a long game. But that's not gonna happen, because once Miguel gets to Imperial, he's gonna have the Real Cavalier. And the big thing about the Real Cavalier is that, first off, they will have 20 more HP than the Burgundian one. And what's bigger is that +4 defense will be there for them, so they're actually pretty resistant to arrow fire, whereas these Cavalier just die to archers so badly. Nice micro over here by Bad Boy using that range over here. He's got 10 range on those things, so being able to pick off those arcs from a distance is very nice, but obviously lack of thumb ring is gonna make life harder. Bit of a cavalry dancing over here. Looks like Bad Boy is actually winning this fight over here, but this game might just be too far gone at this point, because Miguel's knights are diving into snipe the trap. It's all about denying that gold in the middle right now. Although, knights from Miguel do go down here. Imperial Age on the way for him. More Cavalier join the fun from Song Song. I wonder how the prices are on the market, because maybe Song Song and Bad Boy are hoping to bridge through this gap with a bit of a market usage. But still, they have to get to gold in the next 1 or 2 minutes, and you see that Miguel once again comes in with the raids. This was the characteristic thing from Miguel, this set, especially the second half of it. Just Miguel coming in with those raids and just annihilating the economy of the two players from the Vietnamese team. Now it's a good surround and this group of Arbs goes down, but I think at this point, Dogao is completely fine losing that group, because now the army of Bad Boy is very heavily mispositioned on the left, and behind this one, Miguel is just steamrolling the economy of Bad Boy here, and as I said, no gold control just yet for the Vietnamese team, and it's very unlikely that they will ever get gold control now that Miguel can just go for Plate Barring Blast Furnace. He even has gotten a second blacksmith up, so he can actually get the 2 upgrades simultaneously. So at this point, army numbers are heavily in the favor of Heresy. 60 more villagers though for Heresy, and both of their players are in Imp, which is probably even bigger. Plus they have access to gold. So I don't see a win condition here for the Vietnamese team. They obviously are not giving up because this is the last game of the set and they were up 2 games. But truth being told, this game is over. This game seems to be over. Light cav here against heavy cavalry, just not gonna crack it. This is fully upgraded cavalier in a matter of moments, and that's Burgundian light cavalry that doesn't even have bloodlines, nor the Imperial Age upgrades. They will save this castle over here from the bombard cannon, but it really doesn't matter at this point. I mean, the economy of Bad Boy is just getting torn apart by cavalry running left and right, and the Gao is just gonna impose his will on the opponents, dropping a castle here. Song Song is the first one to say GG, and with that, Heresy mounts a comeback over here. Down 2 games, looked pretty underwhelming in the first 2 games, but then they switched gears and launched a comeback. First on Cape of Storms, that was a pretty decisively in their favor. Then came Atacama, once again in their favor, and last game over here on Golden Pit, they also didn't let this slip out of their grasp. Heresy is the one that ends up winning this one. This set was closer than expected though, so Bad Boy and Song Song, they need to clean some things up. But there's a shot for them to maybe surprise the other 2 teams in this group. ACCM and Bhakti and Helis and Bling are the other 2 teams in this group. Obviously, at this point, Heresy seems to be the favorite, although we haven't seen Bhakti and ACCM play yet. So the expected result was Heresy winning, but it wasn't easy for them by any means. Final stats for this game. Song Song's KD here was pretty underwhelming. Obviously, Arbalest just absolutely disintegrated his cavalry, and this is what Gold Rush is all about. 12k gold for both Brazilians and 6k gold for the Vietnamese team. That's the key thing here. At the end, Heresy snags the victory here in the final game.